Are EU certificates, CE, ECHA, valid in the US, FDA, EPA, and vice versa? Lots of manufacturers think that just because they have all the licenses they need to sell their products in their own country and can export them, it means that any distributor can easily import their products into other countries. But that's actually not true at all. And our agency DIATOMIC sees this problem on a daily basis while helping out manufacturers and distributors with marketing and compliance. If you watch the video, you will get a better idea of what's really going on. Nadine, our HIMES and Compliance Officer, will explain it all for you. Have fun watching.
Hi there. So by now, it should be clear to you that not everything that is allowed to be exported is allowed to be imported. More than that though, compliance in one export country doesn't necessarily mean compliance in another country or continent. A certificate which you created in Europe may not be valid in any of the other countries or continents. I make a big point of this because the truth is that many manufacturers have the mentality that if they are allowed to produce something, they can sell it anywhere on the planet. The truth is that yes, they probably can sell their product anywhere, but it usually doesn't just happen in a hop, skip and a jump. There's a lot more effort than they think. There are no shortcuts and every country has its own regulations on what is allowed to be imported. The main focus of the legislation in every country, jurisdiction or state is to protect its citizens. In some cases, you may only be able to sell your product in a certain part of the country. For example, an ozone-generating device for air disinfection can be sold in the US if it has an EPA approval, but it is not allowed to be sold in the state of California with or without the EPA approval. Or, your product could have an EPA approval from the federal government, but you might still need to register it in almost every state in the US separately. So I'm sure it goes without saying that if you have the CE mark in Europe, that doesn't automatically mean you can import your product into the US. Of course, in some cases you might not need any certifications as your product might not be classified as dangerous in the country you want to import it to. But in other cases, you might need an FDA registration as well as the FDA approval and have the FDA mark affixed on your products. My point is, it is crucial to investigate compliance in every country and in every state. Never assume that your product is compliant in your designated import country. For sure, there are some exceptions, like the bilateral agreement in interest blocks like the US, the European Union, or GCC countries, or agreements between countries like China and Bosnia and Herzegovina, or like Mexico and the US, or Chile and the US. So check the regulations and requirements in every country which you want to export to and calculate from there how much time and money it will actually cost. One tip to use if you want to speed up the process is to prepare the documents such as the SDS, the certification of analysis, and the product label in the native languages of the target country. That's it for now. Let's move on to the next lesson.